career to go and start a business, they think that that's it.
Yeah.
They can't go back to corporate. Man, give it like 12 months, 24 months. Then if it doesn't work and you don't like it, the life's not for you. It's not for everyone, right?
Of course.
Because I highly advise people to get a job. Because jobs are good. They pay money. Banks want to give you money if you've got a pay slip. So it's great. Do you know what I mean? Where was I going?
You were going very heavy.
You were
just
going
then.
good wherever you were going.
Yeah, sorry guys. I lost my train of thought. But yes, if they want to go, if they don't have success in entrepreneurship after 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, go back to your job. Go back to your job. Like, it's not that bad. It's not like we're saying, you know what, we have to, it's either we jump off the cliff and if we hit water, great, we live. Or we die.
Exactly.
If we don't hit water. It's not like that.
No.
It's like, all right, you might fail, you might lose a bit of money, so what? I'll tell you what's bad. If someone's got a gun to your head and they're about to pull the trigger and you don't know if the bullet's in the next barrel. Now that's scary, right?
That is scary.
But entrepreneurship shouldn't be scary. Everyone should give it a go. It's not easy. It's very hard, right? It's very stressful. But it's the greatest experience that I have ever gotten in my life. It's taught me to be loyal. It's taught me to be, determined and, like just all of the good characteristics of being an entrepreneur.
And
I've learned.
and it hasn't been perfect either.
No.
The whole experience.
I've been in business for 10 years, right? And I still have not perfected what I want to do. You know how many industries I've been through? You don't think that I would have loved to get out of uni and go, yep, I'm going to be a doctor. Or, yep, I'm going to be an accountant. Yep, I'm going to be a lawyer. And just do that for the last 10 years? I would be a killer doctor if I'd done that for the last 10 years. But no, I chose entrepreneurship, which has been a very, very hard journey. I've had some successes, but I've also had a lot of losses, a lot of failures. And, things just aren't going to be perfect. They never are. But you know what, as well, with a corporate career or whatever, even just with a career, that's not going to be perfect.
No.
And I got fired from nearly every job I had, right? So I did give it a go at being an employee. And it didn't work for me. That wasn't perfect. You know what I mean?
And look where you are now.
I just think people need to go out and just give it a crack.
Of course, yeah.
Why not?
So to summarise that as well, guys, don't let perfect get in the way or be the enemy of being better.
Just
you
do it.
Aim to be better, but don't aim to be perfect.
Just do it.
Follow Nike's tagline.
Yeah, just do it. Just do it. So acknowledge and demonstrate understanding is the third topic, the third lesson, I should say.
What does that mean? They're big words, Marcus.
They are big words, bigger than me.
I think this is a lot I think this is a lot to do with empathy and not being so ignorant and not being a know-it-all and go in there and be willing to be taught, be willing to be schooled, and
put the ego aside.
Be open to change. You've got this amazing idea, or you've got this amazing thing that could be your career path, an entrepreneurial career path, and it doesn't work. It's something that you could have sworn that would have worked, and it doesn't work out. Then don't be so ignorant to the fact that you failed, and learn from people around you. Surround yourself. We say it all the time, every single week. We say, surround yourself with good people that are doing better than you, people that are more successful than you, so you can actually learn from those people. And you've got to make mistakes, but it's how quick that you can get up and keep moving forward and change direction just like that, and just be really agile. I think that failure cripples people, and that deters them from entrepreneurship altogether. Entrepreneurship is such a big, amazing, sexy word out there that's being used a lot in recent years, especially with in light of social media. It's completely blown up, but
it's the cool thing at the moment.
Real entrepreneurship is fucking hard. It's not. It's not easy. It's a difficult road.
And I think what people I think what people don't realise as well, it's one massive lesson the whole time.
Yep.
You're learning the whole time because you're learning how to essentially make money or utilise your time to make a return.
I think entrepreneurship, if I could best describe it, My definition of entrepreneurship is all of the emoji faces in one single day.
Look,
That's what entrepreneurship
if I could put one word on entrepreneurship, it'll be failure. Yeah. Because I truly believe failure is the cost of entry to entrepreneurship. Because without failure, like I've seen so many people before who haven't failed, right? And they've become entrepreneurs and they're Mr. Know-it-alls, and they what happens is that they think that they're on fire and they've never been brought back down to earth. So they don't, going back to your point, they never acknowledge or demonstrate an understanding. Like we've all been through it, where we've been in touch with people who have thought that they know everything about their business. They get defensive when you give them feedback, right? They try and constantly justify their actions, and they can never put their ego aside because it's too fragile. Yep. Right? They don't want to. They can't let their guard down. You know what I mean? And what happens? Those people end up falling harder. And when they fall, oh man, it's a disaster. Yeah. Like they actually get a bad taste of entrepreneurship in their mouth, and those are the types of people that probably end up going back to working in a job because they just can't hack it. Yeah. They can't hack being wrong. You know what I mean? Do you know how many times I've had to admit that I'm wrong? How many times I've had to say sorry? Yeah. You know what I mean? Like I cringe at some of the things that I used to do in my early years of entrepreneurship. I cringe, right? But I'm also proud of it at the same time. It sounds weird, right? Because I'm proud I went through it, but I'm also embarrassed that I did it. If you know, does everyone understand what I'm talking about? Yeah. Like it's a bit, like we've all been through it, where we've done something where, we thought it was right at the time. It's
the same as fashion. What you wore 10 years ago, you kind of look back now and you go, what was I wearing?
Yeah, we look at photos and we kind of go, geez, that's embarrassing. Yeah. You know what I mean? And that's the way I look at entrepreneurship. Yeah. Like some of the failures that I had, I think, but the thing is, if I didn't fail, then I wouldn't be here today because I wouldn't learn how to deal with separate situations. So it's very important to acknowledge your strengths, acknowledge your weaknesses, and outsource the things that you're not good at, right? And just admit it, right? Admit that you're not good at stuff. Like I admit that I'm not good at plenty of things. That's why I've got a really big team underneath me. For example, I don't know how to cut hair. You know what I mean? So I'm not going to go in and act like an expert on cutting hair when I go into my salon, right? I'm going to delegate that task to an expert.
Respect the expertise as well.
That's right. I respect the expertise. And if someone gives me feedback, for example, it could be on this podcast or on a video or something, I take that on board. I mean, if someone's criticizing me and hating on me, then I'm like, okay, what are your intentions? But most of the time, people are actually wanting to give me good feedback because they want me to be better. They want me to be improved, right? And that's how you become better at an entrepreneur.
Acknowledge it.
It's a journey, I think. Like anything in life, it's a journey, right? Entrepreneurship is a journey. You're going to be a different entrepreneur in year 1 than you are in year 10, 15 or 20. I look back, it's like a bad Christmas jumper in a photo, right? I look back and I cringe at the way I used to do business and at the way that I used to execute. I don't think it was necessarily bad back then, and I probably wouldn't go back and change it because that was my path. But I do things very differently now. Yeah. I operate very differently, operate on a different level. And I wouldn't be able to operate on this level now 5-10 years ago.
And that's because you failed all of those times all the way through. So you're 34 years old now, right? People are out there that they're going out to start their own ventures now in their mid-30s, and they're only really just starting to execute on their ideas now. And what happens is that they've got to go through all of those embarrassing failures, which they probably don't feel like they're as embarrassing yet. First, like now, they've got to do it, right? So they've got another 5 or 10 years ahead of them. Yep. Now, that's not a bad thing because you got to start somewhere. You can't just go. You can't just go. Okay, well, I'm not going to do anything for the rest of my life. You've got to start. But for our listeners out there, going back to the previous point, just go out and do it. Start making mistakes. Start failing. Start. Embarrassing yourself. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%.
Because once you get that experience under your belt, that's where you have the confidence to really soar and really go forward. Like, I've got the confidence now after 10 years of being in business to fly. You know what I mean? Like, I've gotten to the point now where I've done so many different things. I've failed at that many different businesses. I've burnt that many different relationships on my part, on other people's part, that, you know what? I actually don't care what the outcome is anymore. If I fail, you know, I learn. If I win, I go on a holiday.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's the only way to build up resilience, I think, is to go through the storms, to fail, to constantly, you know, be under fire, be under criticism all the time, whether it be, you know, your network or, you know,
people
your
care
customers.
too much about that. People care about what other people are saying about them. That's what's holding most people back. Most people are going, oh, I wonder what my mum and dad would say. Oh, I wonder what my brother would say. I used to think like this, right? I used to think, oh, I wonder what my old friends would say.
Yeah.
Are any of those people paying my bills?
No, they're not.
They're not.
No.
None of them are paying my bills. So why am I listening to them? So for you listeners out there, who's paying your bills? Is it you, or is it your cat,
Ask
or your
yourself,
dog,
next time,
or your mum, or your dad? You know what I mean? Like, who others?
Yeah.
guys, next time your cat asks you tells you what to do,
Yeah.
ask your cat if they're paying your bills.
My point is that
Yeah.
don't give a fuck what anyone else has to say. You know, I actually don't care what anyone has to say. Like, a lot of people will point and laugh at me because I'm doing this podcast, right? There's probably people listening on this thing right now, or watching right now, pointing and laughing and going, oh, look at this idiot. Who does he think he is? You know what I mean? But you know what? Are you paying my bills? You know what I mean? They're not, right? So for the message
Straight and
is, for
simple.
everyone else that's listening, go out and just do what you were meant to do.
And acknowledge and demonstrate understanding along the way.
That's it.
It's very simple. Moving on, guys, we've got share your expertise. This, for me, is one of my personal favourites, because for me, this year, I've jumped into a new industry, though I have got some form of a beginner's knowledge of it all. But being able to talk so openly and know what you're talking about, it's such a really good feeling, I feel. You know, being able to, someone asks you for advice and it's like, oh, this person wasn't talking to me 6 months ago, but all of a sudden now I'm an expert to them and they're asking me for advice. It's a pretty good feeling. So sharing your expertise for free, Jade, is this something you do on a very regular basis?
All the time, and I think you fall into that natural role, don't you? After so many years, people just turn to you for advice and guidance, and it's just a natural thing. And some time ago, I was like, what? You know, people are asking me questions. Why would they be asking me questions? But, you know, little did I didn't realise that, you know, I've land banked all of that time in the game to be able to give that expertise. And I think one thing is for sure, and not enough people do it, is they don't add enough value to their network or their community or their customers. You know, I think the most important thing is adding value, and sharing your expertise is a good way to do that. Whether you're selling a product or a service in any business that you're in, there has to be some element of adding value and giving out your expertise and sharing your expertise for free. It's important, because people will remember that, and people will always remember how you made them feel, and then they'll never forget you. I think we seek it from time to time. We should give, and the most important, you know, happiness comes from within, but the best way to be happy and content in life is to give. And
Definitely.
you need to give. I know Zar talks about it a lot, and, you know, giving more than receiving. It's so important, and it's so true. And I know that for a fact, Zar, I watch Zar do it day in, day out, give more than he receives. And I think it's a true testament to what he's built, and we can all learn from that, I think.
Well, it comes back in the long term, doesn't it? You know, like, I mean, for example, you this time last year, you were giving me a lot of guidance on certain different situations, and a year later, here we are. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm bringing you a lot of value now to the business and whatnot. But it
always comes back.
It always comes back.
It always comes back, and, you know, like, I think we obviously do a lot of it because we've got this podcast. We don't sell anything. You know, for you guys listening out there, there's no There's not going to be, you know, some weird sales pitch at the end of the podcast where we throw in a set of steak knives. It's
There might be.
yeah, it's purely just value for you guys to take away from our experiences in business and in life. And you know, we've been through a lot. Like as we've